Hey dudes, it's your friend Keith, and I've got a killer guitar to share with you all today. If you're new to the channel, click like, click subscribe, come join our circle of friends. You're going to see some crazy stuff that I get from all over the world. So, let's chat about what we have here. This is an ESP Dave Mustaine Kiso Custom Shop DV8. This is a very rare guitar. Dave was only with ESP for 2 years. He gave me the whole lowdown in person. We talked about this exact guitar at Wembley Arena in London back in January. This particular example was actually owned by Seth from Behemoth. And it was sent to me, just arrived from Poland, guys. Man, this thing is so cool. So, why did Dave go to ESP? He was always a Jackson guy. That's what a lot of people remember Dave Mustaine as when they think of him in Megadeth. Well, the company went up for sale. He tried to buy it with Seymour Duncan's wife, and the bid, I guess, wasn't high enough, or the bigger fish swooped in, and Fender ended up buying the company. So, Dave looked for a new home, and he went to ESP. Obviously, tremendously respected brand. Metallica, which he was an original member of, obviously have had a lot of success with that brand, and ESP was keen to do a deal with the other massive, top 2 metal bands in the world. Imagine having both on your company's roster. Wow. So, this was the replacement for the Jackson King V. And you can see this has got Dave Mustaine signature Seymour Duncan live wires. Very similar. Very, very similar to a King V. You've got this 8-ball inlay at the first fret. And then you've got mother of pearl dot inlays down the fretboard. Cool. So, what happened with ESP is Dave said he's cruising the internet one day and he sees a signature guitar for sale through Musician's Friend. Now, those of you that are not in America, you won't know what Musician's Friend is. But Musician's Friend was like the biggest mail order guitar catalog company in America, and probably the biggest website to buy guitars. It'd be kind of like the European equivalent would be like Thomann out in Germany. Well, so he's cruising the net and he sees a signature guitar, a Dave Mustaine signature guitar for sale, and he's like, I don't know anything about this guitar. So when he called up the execs at ESP USA, they were like, yeah, well, you didn't say we couldn't do this. And I mean, guys, in the business world, and especially in music, entertainment, anything where you have an agent and you do these sort of licensing deals, there are royalty fees. All this stuff has to get approved. You're using someone's name, their likelihood, their likeliness. You have to have permission, and you have to cut them in on the deal. You can't just go do it on your own. So that led to Dave jumping ship immediately to Dean, where he still is. And it's just pretty wild because, I had my own issues with these very same people at ESP, and not real honest. They won't answer the phones. They won't respond to emails. I did a huge deal with the company and was treated shockingly bad afterwards. And they just, they don't care is really what it comes down to. And I've spoken with a lot of artists who have dealt with them, and they all come back saying the same thing. I've spoken to dealers. I've spoken to an entire country's distributor, and they're all like, these guys out in USA running ESP are an absolute joke. And that's definitely my firsthand experience with them. Now, ESP is a Japanese company. I'm going to flip this over so you can see the back. And the company is owned by a Japanese guy. and is primarily concerned with the Japanese market. That's why they have their own .jp website. It's, there's no English version of it. It's all strictly geared towards the Japanese domestic marketplace. And it was the American distributor that really pushed to bring the brand to other markets like Europe and Australia and, America. But in my opinion, these guys are out of control. They do a lot of unscrupulous things. They throw their dealers under the bus, and they compete with their dealers and pretend not to. Just a lot of just unethical and horrific stuff, which is why Dave jumped ship. But it's interesting because, this is a phenomenally built Japanese Kiso custom shop guitar. And it is his signature model. And it is a part of Megadeth and Dave Mustaine history. And if you like ESPs, I love ESPs. If you like King Vs, man, you have to have this model in your collection. It's just awesome. Forget the dudes that are running the US distributor. That's what ESP.com is. A lot of people think that's ESP. It's not. It is the US distributor. And their name isn't ESP. They tell everybody they're ESP guitars. But that is not at all the name of their company. Take some digging to find out what it is. But yeah, guys, this thing's super cool. I looked high and low to find one of these. So cool to get Kiso custom shop example. I mean, I haven't seen one of these in a couple years. And inside the case, this is the factory correct case. We've got some documents, which is some messages between the guy that got the guitar from Seth. He went to high school with him, and just confirming everything. So you get provenance with it as well. And I mean, really cool case. You can see you've got a Delta cargo thing from when this, I guess, went on tour. Definitely looks like it. You've got some other, man, I'm part Polish. I wish I could read it. It's a little bit faded, but maybe someone on the channel is Polish and can read that. Not quite sure if I can make that out. But anyway, this thing is just totally rad. Condition's great. I mean, there's a few little marks and tiny chips and little dings. Very few, though. I mean, overall, fantastic condition for something that was owned by such a prominent player and such a prominent metal band. Anyway, with the whole ESP controversy thing, I'm going to do a whole video dedicated to just that. And I will be getting in front of the camera for that one, and it will be causing a ruckus on the internet. Don't you worry about that. It's definitely happening. All I can say is the fine folks at ESP USA, you're going to wish you responded to my emails and phone calls. Wasn't going to be worth it. Way cool. All right, dudes. If you've been paying attention to the channel, I've actually got quite a few guitars that were owned by Dave Mustaine. I met him at Wembley Arena. I bought his whole collection on reverb.com. And now we've got this killer guitar to join it. If you want to see these guitars up close, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're going to be doing up-close videos of all of them. This one, the strings are just a little loose right now because it just came out of the box. So you got a little chip there. But overall, killer condition. This is a beast. All right, dudes. I got to get going. I got a lot of videos to do for you. Make sure you follow us on all the socials at Essex Recording Studios. That's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can always message me on our Facebook page. I'll always get back to you. You know, if you want to buy this guitar, it's going to be up on reverb.com shortly. It will be on our website. And of course, you can just get in touch directly with me on any of the social media. I ship to any country in the world. And we'll do a deal. Cool. I'm Audi 5000. I'll see you in another video coming up shortly after this. Later, dudes.